Yo, what's going on? Geek Corner. This is your boy, Earth Smack, the Mad Scientist. Welcome back to the Orange Phoenix Media Channel and another episode of Saturday Morning Comics. This is Saturday Morning Comics episode 2. Man, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. It's giving me a reason to wake up early in the morning to show prep and get things ready for a Saturday Morning Comics, man. But before we go further into the show, I got to acknowledge something, man. I acknowledge a milestone, at least a milestone in Orange Phoenix's eyes. And the milestone is we have officially reached over 500 subscribers, man. Yeah, definitely did that, man. And that's all thanks to you guys. That's thanks to you guys, your support, your love, your comments, your shares, your likes, your subscriptions, the whole nine. Like, greatly appreciate all that you do. Because of you guys, it revitalized my love for comic books. It revitalized my love for reading comic books again, going to a local comic book store, hanging out with like-minded individuals, getting into various stories. And I'm going to tell you, right off rip, man, if you are one of those individuals that has taken time off, if you're one of those individuals that have taken time off and like, you know what, I'm gonna take a break from comics or whatever, and you decide to jump back into it, man, there's a lot to catch up to. There's a lot to cover. I mean, obviously there's reboots and all this other stuff, and you know, reshots, one shots and stuff like that, trades you can catch up on. But yeah, it's a task, you know what I'm saying? But it's a fun task. It is actually a fun task, right? Now, you know, fortunately, my gap in not reading comics wasn't very long. You know what I'm saying? It was like maybe a couple of years or so. I know X-Men was like one of my favorite comics, like going in there. And I ventured, again, I was a Marvel head, like, you know, used Marvel head. And I ventured off the Image Comics, and I ventured off the DC Comics. And I'm going to tell you right now, DC Comics is cooking right now. They are cooking hot like fish grease, man. They are doing what they're doing because that goes into what we're talking about today, which is the DCKO event. Now, the DCKO event takes place in another month. So, I mean, you might as well say this is September. You know what I mean? August went by so fast. But yes, the DCKO event. And you might ask the question, what is the DCKO event? We're definitely going to jump into that. And the brackets. You know what I'm saying? Well, I wouldn't say the brackets. I'll say who will be involved in fighting to be King Omega. Who's going to have enough Omega energy to compete with Darkseid. So also, we're going to talk about a new comic that's coming out. A new comic about an older cartoon. A new comic about an older Saturday morning cartoon. And the author behind that. Because, man, this is something that we definitely to jump into. Also, I'm going to talk to you about what we covered this week. And what we covered this week. And what's coming out Sunday. Okay? And what's coming out Sunday. So, let's get into some comic books here. Let's see what we got. So, yeah. So, we got DC KO, man. Because we get the actual roster. And I'm going to pull this up. Just give me a 1 minute. All right, now this is according to comicbook.com, and it says, get ready to step into the ring for DC Comics' next epic event series, DC KO, which is a new event that is advertised as an all-out brawl between DC's greatest heroes and villains, okay, in a 5-level gladiatorial arena rising from Earth itself. Now, DC has finally shared the full roster of the event, with the final variant covered by Dan Mora. And we talked about Dan Mora last Saturday. Dan Mora is not taking any days off, man. This man is working on Immortal Legends Batman. He's working on World's Finest. He's working on the DCKO event. What's going on? And it says the cover features portraits of all 32 fighters. Now, there's only 32 fighters entering DC's bracket-style tournament to determine who will be crowned King Omega. Now, the tournament mixes DC's biggest heroes, including the Trinity, and some serious heavy hitters, including Swamp Thing and Captain Atom. Now, I got to give you this list. Now, this is some of the artwork from the DCKO event. Hate these ass. But if you look at the artwork of Dan Mora and what he's able to do here, man, there's a reason why he has no issues looking for a job. You know what I'm saying? He has no issues whatsoever. So his artwork is very, very, very good. Now, here's the list. Power Girl, Superman, Lex Luthor, Supergirl, Black Lightning, Green Lantern, Guy Gardner Green Lantern, which makes it even more better, man. So Giganta, Captain Atom, Damian Wayne, Batman, Red Hood, Batwoman, Flash, which is Jay Garrick, Cheetah, Cyborg, Big Barda, Plastic Man, Aquaman, Harley Quinn, Lobo, Connor Hawk, Star Sapphire, Vixen, Zatanna, Metamorpho, Wonder Woman, Swamp Thing, Firestorm, King Shark, Heartman, Etrigan the Demon, and Starro. So now the question is, now we got to play some bets. Like, who exactly is going to win this tournament of 32? Like, who's going to be King Omega? Who's going to be the person to face Darkseid? Because to be honest with you, you can't like straight up defeat Darkseid. All right, like that's the other thing. Now, what if you haven't been following what's going on with DC? It all goes back to the Absolute Power event. And when you talk about the Absolute Power event, this is when Amanda Waller got this close, like this close, paper thin close of completely beating the Justice League, completely beating the DC universe, like as a whole, outside of the cosmic beings or whatever, but just Earth, right? Because what she was able to do was well thought out and well planned. She was able to take the abilities of everyone, right? Using the Amazo androids, because they can actually absorb your abilities and whatnot. So, and she also had, you know, an AI unit that was created by Batman, and there was always something. And what she did was she created like events where they actually show up, and when they show up, she take their abilities and put them in prison. And on top of that, she used the #1 power in the United States soil, and that's social media and all forms of media. And she made the heroes look bad. She made them look bad to the point where they're destroying things, and you know how easily manipulated people are because people don't know how to read, you know, and people can't read past 6th grade level on average. So they're like, oh, what do you see on TV? We absolutely believe it. So now the heroes are looked at as villains. They're in prison. People are okay with it until they got a ram in the bush and they was able to defeat Amanda Waller. Now, this event called the Absolute Power event, if you haven't read that, go ahead and read that, man, because Amanda Waller get her comeuppance, okay? She gets her comeuppance, and she gets it in the worst way. She don't die, you know what I'm saying? But it's worse than that. Way worse than that. But once that event ended, the abilities and powers have been dispersed back to the heroes, but not all heroes got their powers back. Some got other people's abilities. Like Lois Lane was Superwoman for a period, right? Just to put that out there. You know what I mean? So everybody was like dispersed. But to alleviate a catastrophic event from happening again, the Justice League decides to create Justice League Unlimited. Just like you see it on Saturday morning cartoons, or during the week cartoons on Cartoon Network and on HBO Max. Justice League Unlimited, yes, that Justice League Unlimited. So we talking about at least, and I'm spitballing here, we talking at least 85% heroes in Justice League Unlimited. Like, you got this card, you can go up to the tower, and each section of the tower has something for a group of heroes. Like for the Bat family, there's a nest over there for like the Bat family and stuff over there. You know what I'm saying? So for Mr. Terrific, he is working pretty much the whole enchilada. When it comes to the Red Tornado, he's basically taken apart. So he's basically the computer. So between Mr. Terrific and Red Tornado, they're basically running things. They're basically running things. But on the first day on the job, on the first day of the job, Darkseid shows up, but not like physically, right? I mean, they was getting into it because Darkseid was missing an arm. Darkseid actually was venturing out into Apocalypse, and he was actually doing things so he could create his own world. They was able to defeat Darkseid and send him back to wherever he came from. But in the midst of that, Darkseid wasn't really fighting the Justice League. It was something he really wanted to do. And from that standpoint, Darkseid created his own universe. And with that, his own universe, it says that it's called the Absolute Universe. And which is no correlation to Amanda Waller or what she got going on. But Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Martian Manhunter, Absolute Flash, Absolute Green Lantern. So in this world, it's very, very similar to the Ultimate Universe in Marvel. So with this universe, Darkseid created this world where these heroes are actually struggling. They are struggling. Like, they don't have the normal origins. So, for instance, Wonder Woman had been raised in Hades. She was raised in Hades. She wasn't in Paradise Island. She wasn't in Themyscira. She was raised in Hades. Superman is sort of kind of a refugee. Batman is not rich. Okay? He's an engineer. He's like over 200 pounds. So how Bane looks in the regular continuity of Batman, that's how Batman looks in the Absolute Universe. And the emblem that's on his chest is an axe. So just in case he gets into it like real rough and real hard, it's an axe on his chest that he can actually use. His cape can actually harden. It can actually do stabbings and all that. The bat ears can actually turn and actually can stab you in the eyeballs. Like, this Batman is way more brutal than the Batman that we know. But Absolute Batman is wonderful. It is great. So with this event, Darkseid is creating like Omega Energy. And pretty soon the Legion, well, the Darkseid Legion has been coming in issues of Superman. If you haven't read Superman, it actually gets really, really good. And we're talking Doomsday. Like, Doomsday is not Doomsday anymore. Doomsday is the time trapper. Doomsday is actually talking wise. Now, if you remember Doomsday is the being that defeated Superman. He's the one that killed Superman. And Time Trapper is actually trying to save time itself. He knows Darkseid is coming, and he has spoken with Superman. He's like, listen, you're not willing to do what I need you to do, so I got Superboy Prime. And Superboy Prime, if you haven't read Superboy Prime, you definitely need to read that. And what he's able to do, because Superboy Prime actually, he kills people. And he is able to punch reality. So what needs to be done here when it comes to Darkseid needs to be done. So this is where the DCKO event comes in at. Because in order for them to save their universe, they have to get down to the nitty gritty. They have to fight in this tournament. And with this Omega Energy, it's negative energy. So you can't just like beat someone to the point of, all right, I'm a buyout. I lose. Nah, you're gonna have to fight. Now remember, it says gladiatorial. It says gladiatorial. So you might have to fight to the death. So Mark Scott says, Absolute Batman is a big fella, but Absolute Bane is a unit. Absolute unit. Like, if you don't know how Absolute Bane looks, man, I gotta pull up a picture, man. Because it doesn't do it justice how Bane looks. It's absolutely ridiculous. And also, Bane is beating the shit out of Batman right now. Like, it's a problem. It is a huge problem. Let me show you how Bane looks. Like, Bane. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, this is Bane right here. This is Bane. And this dude is towering over Batman. Like, Batman is over 200 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Over 200 pounds. And I think he's, from what someone said about his weight with the suit on, he's like 400 or something like that, which is crazy. But this is Bane, and Bane dwarfs Batman by a country mile. Like the things he's able to do, like he's able to pick you up by your head and actually squeeze you. Like, so, if anything, if you haven't read Absolute Batman, ladies and gentlemen, y'all gotta read Absolute Batman. Like, Mark is not lying. Like, Bane is a unit. Okay, Bane is crazy out here. Somehow, some way, he's gonna have to beat him. Now, also in Absolute Batman, if you didn't realize, listeners, is that the normal rogues gallery of villains that's in the normal continuity of Absolute in Batman is his friends. Like, Oswald is his friend. Eric, Enigma is his friend. Harvey Dent is his friend. Waylon Jones is his friend, aka Killer Croc. And like, those are his friends, people he grew up with. Like, he lost his dad, but his mom is still alive. So that is a whole different story altogether. Like, they went to the zoo. There was this like mass shooting that happened, and then his dad was one of the ones that actually, died. But his mom is still alive, and his mom has a close relationship with Jim Gordon, which is crazy, right? Which is crazy. So now the relationship with him and Selena Kyle, Catwoman, is still there. Which is funny though, because Martha Wayne, basically helped raise the other kids, like, Croc and Penguin, I just named them names, but as they were kids. So they are very, very familiar with Bruce. And most of them know that Bruce is Batman because he revealed it, because sometimes, he needs help. Alfred is a mercenary. Alfred is out here doing work, okay? Like, when he first met Batman, they got into it. Batman took his gun, outfitted with shotgun batarangs, and he shot Alfred in the face with batarangs. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now they side by side, they align. And from what I understand, Alfred is actually close friends with Deathstroke. So I don't know what's going to happen with Absolute Batman, but it is something worth reading. But yes. So now to go back to it with the DCKO event. Now, it says that the DCKO event is written by Scott Snyder with the art by Javi Fernandez and will launch on October 8th. DC Comics is encouraging readers to participate in its online tournament bracket, rooting for their favorite heroes to move up in the ranks. Now, each round in the tournament unlocks new powers and revelations as the various metahumans battle. So you have to be merciless to win, Snyder chimed in, and when you're out, you're out. And Joshua Williamson, co-architect of DCKO, adds each level is a new challenge, and the tournament will reveal unexpected heroes. Some you won't believe will go really far in the fights. So, I mean, when you really think about it, it says that the most interesting thing about the roster isn't the characters who will be in the tournament, but rather the characters they left out. Jay Garrett was chosen as the Flash representative over Barry Allen and Wally West. Guy Gardner and Star Sapphire are in the tournament, yet Hal Jordan nor John Stewart is. Connor Hawk takes the place of his father, Oliver Queen, aka Green Arrow. It's a fun cast of characters given the spotlight of diverse group of characters. So, where are these other characters? What they're going to be doing? What are they doing? Are they trying to handle another situation outside of this? Because Mr. Terrific is not in here. So, I don't know. Mr. Terrific is not in here. I feel like Mr. Terrific should be a perfect candidate to be in the tournament because I feel like he can outsmart everybody. After all, he is the third smartest man. So here's what you need to know about DCKO. It says DCKO is a direct follow-through of several ongoing plot points established throughout DC's All-In initiative. Now, All-In began with Unexpected Death of Darkseid, except that it was a new God's plan all along. Now, with his death, Darkseid was able to corrupt an entire universe, creating the Absolute Universe. And in this universe, the heroes are underdogs in an exceedingly dark world, and this led to Absolute DC lineup comics. With the universe scheduled to have its own event series called Absolute Evil. So even in the Absolute Universe, there is going to be its own series of Absolute Evil. So just keep that in mind. So meanwhile, the Justice League has reformed the Justice League Unlimited, like I said earlier, and Darkseid has created an alternate evil version of the Legion of Superheroes, who have captured Booster Gold and defeated all versions of the Good Legion. Now, DC's KO takes place on an Earth that's being slowly transformed by the heart of Apocalypse deep within planet. Now, the 32 DC heroes and villains enter the tournament to potentially win the Omega powers to rival Darkseid and possibly become King Omega. Now, that is where things are getting really, really, really crazy. Really crazy. Now, Superboy Prime, man. Y'all got to read Superboy Prime. I'm going to pull this up momentarily about Superboy Prime, because this man is able to punch reality. If you haven't read Superman comics or that line of Superman comics, especially the All In, especially where Lois Lane became Superwoman, I did cover that in earlier videos on the YouTube channel, and it was a very good read. It was a very good read. I can be the first one to tell you I have clearly underestimated Superman as a character, because I always thought like he was a bland character, because like how can you make him compelling if he's such a powerful character? Like, it's nothing that he cannot do. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can make him a compelling character? I think one of the most compelling stories with Superman is Doomsday, because he actually died in Superman, Death of Superman. But I was not familiar with your game. I was not familiar with your game, right? Because I was pro Batman. Still is pro Batman. But there are some great DC stories. Obviously, Crisis of Infinite Earths, when you realize there's different Earths and there's different Superman, there's different Batman, Wonder Woman, so on and so forth. Now you got the Absolute Universe, which is a fresh new take on the heroes, on the Trinity, along with other heroes that are out there, because I'm currently reading Absolute Green Lantern, which is very good, by the way. You definitely want to read that. Also, like, a lot of people hailed like the greatest DC story ever told was DC's Kingdom Come, which takes place in a whole different universe altogether, which I do have that. I do have DC's Kingdom Come, and I do have a good bit of Superman comics, like Superman Rebirth and All-Star Superman, because yes, I'm definitely reading that, and there's a few other comics. Now, there are also some Black Label comics, which is basically takes place in Elseworlds, like a different universe altogether, so you definitely want to check that out, which I'm actually going to jump into, because I'm going to let you know, just like last week, I did cover Immortal Legends Batman. I did say that it's coming out, and I did cover that in my video earlier this week. So if you haven't checked out Immortal Legends Batman on my YouTube channel, you definitely want to check that out. Now, one thing I can explain to you about Immortal Legends Batman is just throw away whatever thought process you have on on Batman, okay? Because if you are familiar with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, VR Troopers, Big Bad Beetleborgs, and stuff like that, you definitely will be a fan. Definitely will be a fan of Immortal Legends Batman, because this thing pulls no punches. Okay, pulls no punches now, and it's by Kyle Higgins. Kyle Higgins, and I'm gonna share the screen with you right quick. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, so by Kyle Higgins, Immortal Legends Batman is our big new Elseworlds reimagining of Batman and the larger DC mythos, and we are putting it all through a couple different influence lenses, but notably Japanese tokusatsu. Now, for those who don't know, tokusatsu is a genre of Japanese storytelling and most associated with things like Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, you know, stuff like that. So, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, also what Godzilla and Kaiju are a part of. Now, there are different tenets of tokusatsu that, beyond aesthetics, we are tapping into that work incredibly well with Batman. Now, this series is set in the far future as these monstrous shadows attack human civilizations. Now, they are held at bay by 3 superheroes. Now, the Immortal Legends known as Batman, Robin, and Nightwing. Okay, so I did cover, I wouldn't say a great majority of Immortal Legends Batman. I wouldn't say that I cover, like, you know, the lettuce and tomatoes, the meat and potatoes. They got to read on y'all. You know what I'm saying? The meat and potatoes got to read on y'all. But I did cover that. The fact that it really starts out with people touching shit. That's really where it comes from. It's like people go out to explore, they find new things, they mess with dark matter. And what do you get when you mess with dark matter? What do you get when you mess with dark matter? You get shadow monsters, you get those things, right? So with those shadow monsters, they are attacking humans. They are taking human form. And 3 individuals, Nightwing, Batman, and Robin, they come up with this idea, and they came up with the Immortal Legends. And in issue number 1, we were introduced to Batman and Batman only. Now, yes, there is a panel or two about Robin and Nightwing, but as far as what's going on currently and what's going on in issue number 1, you don't really see them. You're going to see them in later issues. And I did give you my review at the end of that video as well. So, and also you might get a surprise at the end of that issue as well. So there's a lot of moving and shaking with this. Now, what I will tell you this is that this doesn't really need a long run. This doesn't really need a long run. This could be like a mini series, you know, wham bam, thank you ma'am, that kind of thing. You know, you strike where the irons are hot. Because I went to the local comic book store yesterday. Shout out to Heroes and Dragons. And now with Heroes and Dragons, they had a whole slew of Immortal Legends Batman. They had stacks of Immortal Legends Batman. Matter of fact, Immortal Legends Batman was on the front kiosk. It was like at the front desk of the local comic book store I went to, Heroes and Dragons. It's right. I was like, wow, y'all got it up here? And I've never seen that. I haven't seen that in a long, I've never seen that. So Immortal Legends Batman is at the front. It's on a new comics wall. There's other stacks of it on top of some boxes over here. So, yeah, they got some things going on over there. You know what I'm saying? So, you definitely want to pick yourself up some Immortal Legends Batman, especially if you are a fan of tokusatsu. Now, also, the other thing I did cover this week is Planet She-Hulk. Now, one thing I will say about this is that this is very, very good. Planet She-Hulk is very good. It's very entertaining. Now, if you did not read the Imperial storyline, you definitely got to read the Imperial storyline, because the Imperial storyline is really, really good. And you're like, what is the Imperial storyline? Now, Imperial is separate from the regular Marvel continuity, because right now you got Storm fighting cosmic beings, Cyclops is in jail. Like there's a lot of things going on. There's like obviously Age of Revelation event that's coming up. So how does this mix in with Imperial? It doesn't. Imperial is separate from the main continuity, and that's pretty cool, because if it was mixed in with everything else, I don't see how. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense at all. At all. It definitely would not have made sense. But the Imperial storyline is very good, created by written by Jonathan Hickman. But there are a lot of one-shots here that took place. Now, it's 3 one-shots. There's one with Lilandra, and Professor X. There's another one with T'Challa, Black Panther. And this one is the one I picked up, was Planet She-Hulk. Because, to be honest with you, I have not picked up a She-Hulk comic in God knows when. But the cover, though, brought it to my attention. And so basically what happens is Hulk and Cho left Sakaar, and they left Jennifer in charge of Sakaar, because Hulk's son was assassinated, and he's the king of Sakaar. Like, he was the current king, and he had 5 wives. So they got to investigate what's going on with Hulk's son. So they left She-Hulk in charge, because if she were to leave, it would be nothing but chaos on Sakaar, because Sakaar only recognizes strength. She-Hulk was reluctant to do that. He like, listen, I gave him 5 days of mourning. After those 5 days, I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll be back in 5 days. There wasn't back in 5 days, but within those 5 days, Jennifer had to handle some things. So it says Sakaar Party of 1, She-Hulk is back, and she's stuck on Sakaar. Now, spinning out of Jonathan Hickman's hit cosmic epic Imperial, Jennifer Walters made a promise to her cousin Hulk to watch over the planet Sakaar and its people for a few days. Now, it's been longer than a few days, and now She-Hulk is in charge of keeping the peace on a planet at war. But Jennifer is a very different Hulk than the one that once smashed Sakaar into submission. Is she up to the task? I'm gonna tell you right now. I think she is up to the task, and reason being, I feel like by the time Hulk handles the things that he needs to handle outside of Sakaar, and once he gets back to Sakaar, She-Hulk will have things so lined up that she don't want to leave. I'm pretty sure by the time he's finished, Hulk gets back, he's like, all right, Jen, you can go back. You can go back home. And she's gonna be like, nah, I'm good now. Like, I was able to do something that you wasn't able to do because this Hulk is a lawyer. You know, but the funny thing about this issue is that she tries to integrate her Earth customs to Sakaar customs, and it didn't work out too well because in this one shot, it basically explains how she was trying to solve a murder. Like, there was a second murder that transpired after Hulk's son passed away. So it was his advisor. His advisor was murdered, and she was actually investigating this. She's going all over the planets, but in the midst of that, she's trying to stop conflicts from happening. So she got a lot to go on. Also, Conrad, her makeshift advisor, is giving her advice on how things ran on Sakaar, like giving her advice and stuff like that. But I truly believe that this will no longer be Hulk's planet. This will be She-Hulk's planet. And I'm down for that. I am down for that. Like, what happens when She-Hulk runs Sakaar? Like, how does that even transpire? How does that even translate? So I can't wait for that. Now, the next thing we definitely going to talk about is I know we got a new comic book run that is coming out, and cannot wait to jump into that. And it is Street Sharks, man. Street Sharks is coming to comics. Yes, Street Sharks. Like, you know, the Saturday morning cartoon Street Sharks. Yeah, that's Street Sharks, man. So according to IGN, everything old eventually becomes new again, and now it's time for Street Sharks franchise to make its comeback. The Bolton brothers are back in the form of a new comic book series. Better still, they found new home at IDW Publishing, and the same company that's done great work with TMNT franchise in recent years. With the final order cutoff for Street Sharks #1 happening on Monday, August the 11th, which is already passed. Now, also, we got to check out this slide. You see that? Check that out. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for that. Got some Street Sharks. Jawsome Justice. And yes, I will be picking this up. Definitely be picking this up. Absolutely can't wait. Now, it says, now Street Sharks is a continuation of the original animated series, which lasted for 3 seasons. Now, a lot of people don't realize that. This thing lasted for 3 seasons. Not one. It wasn't short-lived. It was 3 seasons from 1994 to 97. This 5-issue limited series is written by Stephanie Williams. Now, let me tell you about Stephanie Williams. Now, Stephanie Williams has worked on Trial of the Amazons, and she also worked on Nubia. Now, I met her at a convention, I think at Greenville Convention, Comic-Con, and I was able to purchase Nubia. but it was for my fiance. So, like, she's actually read Nubia, and she don't really read comics like that, but check it out. She actually enjoyed it. Now, Stephanie Williams is like one of the great writers in comics, and like, if not one of the greatest, because she's definitely put her time in. If you're not familiar with Stephanie Williams' game, you need to get familiar with Stephanie Williams' game. And just considering the fact that it was a dream come true for her to work on Street Sharks, this comes full circle. And illustrated by Ariel Medel, TMNT versus Street Fighter. The first issue covers by Philip Murphy, Elizabeth Beals, Kevin Anthony, Catalan, and Kari Randolph. Now, #1, it says the first Street Sharks comic in more than 20 years brings you extreme stories in a fantastic time. But don't call it a comeback. They've been waiting for everyone else to get ready for more jawsome adventures. And the 4 Bolton brothers were happy playing sports, meeting babes. But when a run-in of a mad scientist turned them into giant sharks, they only got cooler. And so kick some serious fin with Rilster, the great white head of the pack, Streaks, the rollerblading ladies man or lady shark, Jab, the hammerhead, who loves using his noggin, and Big Slam Move, the whale shark with the whale-sized muscles, on their newest adventure, and they need all the help they can get to stop their arch nemesis, Dr. Paranoid, from developing the perfect predator. Little do they know, it's already too late to stop the grossest monster they ever fought from being born. Now, again, like I told you, Nubia and the Amazons and My Little Pony. And so for Stephanie Williams, you got to read this, man. Street Sharks looks very, very promising. So the question is, are you going to get Street Sharks? Because I'm going to get Street Sharks. I'm going to get some variant covers. You know what I mean? When I see Stephanie Williams again, I'm like, listen, I'm going to need your Jane Hancock. You know what I mean? I'm going to need that. I'm going to need your signature. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to need that. Okay? So I would definitely tell you to pick up Street Sharks. DCKO event is looking to be really, 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 really good. Now, on the Marvel end, now on Sunday, Fans Choice is on Sunday. Fans Choice is on Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. And what you guys chose, you chose Dr. Voodoo, Avenger of the Supernatural. I did cover issue number 1. I'll cover some of his origin story and the people that he went one-on-one with off top. Like, his job kicked in immediately. So you definitely want to check that out. Dr. Voodoo at 10 a.m. Eastern time on Sunday. Cannot wait for you guys to jump into that. And I did cover Planet She-Hulk. Planet She-Hulk will drop on Wednesday. It will drop on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. So I hope you guys are able to enjoy that. And yes, I did cover Mr. Terrific Year 1, issue number 4. That's coming out next week as well. Now, again, I cannot thank you guys enough for hitting that subscribe button. We are over 500 subscribers. Now we are on our quest to reach 1,000. And then 1,500, and then 2,000, and then 2,500. You know what I'm saying? So we're on our way, man. We are on our way, slowly but surely, man. So I know you guys love the content. Give us your feedback, what we can do, what you want us to cover. Hit us in the comments. Do all those things. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate that. And thank you for watching Saturday Morning Comics. Glad you guys enjoyed this comic book news and what we're able to cover and what's going on in the future. So until next time, yo, peace.